Hey, this is Zaklog the Great. Wouldn't you like to be invulnerable? Incapable of being harmed? Well, actually, no, you probably wouldn't. I mean, it sounds nice, but if you think about the things that make you vulnerable, the situations where you can be hurt worst, you might see that it's not all it's cracked up to be. There's a comic book series I ran across a few years ago titled Incapable. The main character, Max Damage, has a superpower of, sometimes, invulnerability. There's a catch, though. During the times he is invulnerable, he is also almost entirely insensitive. He won't feel pain if he gets shot. He also won't feel pleasure at his girlfriend's lips on his. He feels almost nothing. Luckily for him, this isn't all the time. But he has one or the other. If he can feel, he can be hurt. It's a clever idea, and I'm surprised I hadn't seen it before. After all, if Superman feels no pain when he gets shot, he logically should feel almost nothing when he shakes someone's hand, or hugs his mother, or kisses Lois Lane. And it's true. Vulnerability is not just being vulnerable to pain, but to pleasure, or happiness, or even joy as well. I mean, let's start with the most basic level, our bodies. Where do you really not want to be hit? Where would it hurt most to be punched? Well, it's the exact same places that, treated right, can feel very, very good. Sensitivity is sensitivity, whether to pain or pleasure. Would you give up the pleasure of sex for not being vulnerable to pain of being kicked in the crotch? I wouldn't take that bargain. And it's not just that. Where else are your vulnerable places? Where else can you really hurt? Your eyes, your mouth, your hands. In every case, the capacity for pain is exactly matched by useful and pleasant sensitivity. And this isn't just physical. The same applies to our emotions and spirit. Hope makes you vulnerable. Love makes you vulnerable. If you hope, you can be cruelly disappointed. But what is the alternative? To grow over time bitterly cynical. If you love, you can be hurt. The more you love another person, the more they have the power to cause you pain, either deliberately or carelessly. If you want to learn the meaning of vulnerability and of love, have children. To the exact degree that you love them, you will make yourself vulnerable as never before. If you have children, another person could absolutely destroy your world without ever touching you. And yet, there are joys you will never know any other way. I have never felt as proud of anything I've accomplished as I am watching my son grow and learn. And you can't separate the two. Love and vulnerability are intrinsically connected. You don't want to be hurt? Never love another. Never give your heart to anyone else. C.S. Lewis said it well. To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. If you want to make sure of keeping it intact, you must give it to no one, not even an animal. Wrap it carefully round with hobbies and little luxuries. Avoid all entanglements. Lock it up safe in the casket or coffin of your selfishness, but in that casket, safe, dark, motionless, airless. It will change. It will not be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable. To love is to be vulnerable. And it's not just love. If you genuinely care about something, if you throw yourself passionately into any hobby or activity, you make yourself vulnerable, subject to mockery. By now, I've recorded over 120 poems for this channel. I don't know if I'm the best, but I try to throw myself into them emotionally. I'm not just sedately reading the text. I'll shout or cry if that's what the poem needs. And I have subjected myself to mockery. If I were calm and moderate, I would not be so vulnerable. Calm and sedate may be boring, but is never ridiculous. It doesn't matter how harmless or trivial your interest is. If you genuinely care about it, you've opened up your armor, made yourself a potential target. Even to be honest about what you find beautiful is to open yourself to attack. Like Theodore Dalrymple recently said, to reveal your taste, to say what you find beautiful, is to expose yourself to others, to their ridicule and contempt more often than to their admiration. The cynical and jaded are not easily mocked, but they also have little joy. And one last point which may be of particular interest to Christians. God chose to become vulnerable. God chose to walk among us. He chose to become not just a man, but a child, a baby, completely helpless and completely subject to the power of others. He freely chose to go from complete invulnerability to supreme helplessness. Why? Although we know a few reasons I don't think we'll ever fully understand. But it seems God sees something valuable in the ability to be hurt. He chose to adopt it for himself. Wouldn't you like to be invulnerable? I'm not sure I would. I suspect the cost would be too high. God be with you.